You got the touch. You got the power. Yeah! After all is said and done.
Hey guys, it's the Geek again. And look, I got a haircut. And there's a very decent reason for that. This weekend is the Convergence Convention in Bloomington, Minnesota. I bought my tickets back in December. Had a little freak out because I forgot if I had actually paid for them or not, but I was able to find all this stuff. Found out I did, so that's awesome. But we're not here for that today. Maybe when it's over, I'll find something awesome at the convention that I can review. But for right now, we're going to do something a little different. I was online, again, and I was thinking about old TV shows, looking around on YouTube, just seeing what people remember. And it occurred to me, a lot of people remember shows, but only just barely. And that made me think, what would people reinvest themselves in these shows if they knew they were still available? So this is the Geek's top 5 old school, retro, whatever TV shows that people don't realize are available on DVD. Or at least were at one point. So we're going to jump right in with number 5. Oh, I should point out also, I am limited with what I own. I can't own every show I want, but I snag what I can. And I'm also limited by just that, really. And this isn't a favorite from best to worst kind of thing either. I'm not putting these in order because there's just too many other shows that would fit under in this list, and it just wouldn't be fair to any of these shows. Okay. Number 5, Kids in the Hall. I love this show. It's I don't know if it was filmed there, but it was filmed by a comedic Canadian troupe. Stars Dave Foley, Mark McKinney, Scott Thompson, Bruce McCullough, and Kevin McDonald. And it's a sketch comedy show produced by Lorne Michaels, who did another little show called Saturday Night Live. This show only lasted 5 seasons, sadly. And honestly, a part of it is probably because it was too different for its time. In the early 90s, homosexuality was a new kind of topic, and a lot of people just weren't comfortable talking about it, myself included. And that's something I'm personally embarrassed about. I wish I was more open-minded back then. And in some ways, I still wish that today. But there's an actor on here, Scott Thompson. He's an openly gay person. And he had a character on here called Buddy Cole, who's flamboyantly gay, like super-duper stereotypical gay. And I'm sure that turned off a lot of viewers. When it first came out, it turned me off to the show. But just before it got canceled on Comedy Central, I got into it and I let that part go. And it was, once you accept the idea of homosexuality and just, like, whatever, it's there, deal with it, it's a much funnier show. Number 4, Alf. Now, anybody who knows Alf knows what I'm talking about. This show is awesome. I remember the second season they got a Christmas special, and that thing brought me to tears. It was a very emotional episode, and I think it's one of the best episodes in the entire series. The problem with this was the finale. It ended on a cliffhanger, and I've seen a lot of shows end on a cliffhanger, and it always sucks because it's not a good ending. It's not the ending the shows deserve. And this show is perfect. A perfect example of that. And here's some spoilers if you care about Alf. Final episode, Alf gets a call from other people from his home planet. They're picking him up. He's going to leave Earth. So, throughout the course of the episode, he's making his goodbyes and everything. The family takes him to the field where he's supposed to get picked up. He's waiting to get picked up. The government shows up and circles him. The aliens are spooked off and leave. The family's being pushed to the side. Alf is surrounded by government officers. End of episode, end of series. That's it. That's not how Alf should have ended. And it makes me sad. They cleaned it up later, like, I don't know how much later. I think, like, in 2006, maybe, they made a made-for-TV movie called Operation Alf, where they explained what happened, and that movie really wasn't a good send-off, mostly because nobody in the cast other than Alf came back. They explained that the whole family had been shipped to Arctica or Alaska or somewhere we're never going to see him again in the Witness Relocation Program, because the government says that the alien is scary and we need to hide you. It was just awful. Martin Sheen's in it, and he's one of the bad guys, I guess, and it's just, ugh. It's not the ending Alf deserved. But we gotta move on. Number 3, Teddy Ruxpin. Anybody remember this show? I don't even know if the show was televised. I know it was on VHS a lot. So they had, let's see, how many is here? 20 episodes on this set. I don't know if there's more after that. But it looks like this is supposed to be the entire animated series. And the thing about this is, it was obviously meant to promote the toy, which was a big old animatronic teddy bear that told stories. You put an audio tape in it, and its eyes and mouth would move, and it would tell you a story. And the best part is, there was another character called Grubby, which is a big old caterpillar character. And they made a plush animatronic thing of him, too. And you could plug the two together with a wire, and they would both tell the same story. Like, they would talk to each other while telling this story. I only had Teddy, I never had Grubby, and I really wish I did, because that would have been awesome, especially for a kid. Even today, with the exception of maybe Furbies, which really isn't a good successor, I've never seen an animatronic toy made for kids. And of course, because it was super expensive back in the day. But they even had a shortened version of this cartoon in the form of live action. And I'm pretty sure it was like puppets and guys in suits and stuff, but it looked beautifully done for its time. And I don't know, I just really feel like if people were inventive with their child products like they were back in the 80s, it'd be a much more entertaining and wholesome and maybe a golden age for kids' toys. Number 2, Star Trek the Animated Series. Yeah, this exists. This is not a hallucination or some guy's attempted animation on YouTube. This was a real show. It was made by Filmation, who did another show that I really like called Masters of the Universe, He-Man. You remember that? If you're born in the 90s, probably don't. But this is unofficially the 4th season of the original series. And this had a lot of stuff that carried on in the Star Trek universe. Like, for example, this show came out long before the Next Generation. I think it was like 75 this show came out. Don't hold me to that. I'm sure I'm wrong. But the thing about it was, let's see if I can find a year on here. 2000, no, it's DVD release. Yeah, I don't see a year for the show. But anyway, this is the first time the holodeck actually showed up. Yeah, it was on before Next Generation, kids. Sorry, original series had it first. Haha. Point for Kirk. But yeah, that exists. They actually won a Daytime Emmy for that. It was an awesome show. The entire original series cast, with the exception of maybe Walter Kanan, was in it. And Walter Kanan, Chekhov wasn't in it mostly because they wanted to put an alien. They wanted more alien crew members in there, and with animation you can do that. But they had to push out a regular cast member, so that was Chekhov. But Walter Kanan got to write a couple episodes, so at least there's that. And now, number 1, Punky Brewster. This show is just heartwarming in a real nostalgic sort of way. I don't even know how to word it. Okay, let's try to just get into it. It's about a little girl who's a runaway. Apparently her mom took her to a grocery store and left her there. So she's on the streets, homeless, and wandering around, and she and her dog Brendan find this abandoned apartment room. Not the whole building, just the one room. So they're hanging out in there, playing around, and the caretaker of the building finds them. And through the course of the first episode, he basically adopts her. And now there's this surrogate family we're following around. This guy who I feel should have grandkids by now, watching this little girl who can't be more than 10 years old. And it's really emotional. The only problem is, like, in the first couple of episodes, Punky is really, really dramatic. There's an episode where she has this bring your parents to work day. So, and her adopted dad can't make it at first because he's working, and she's like, he doesn't love me, I guess I'll run away again. I'm like, what? Really? You can't fathom the idea that he loves you, but he just can't make it? Okay. Maybe I don't know enough about the subject to really be able to judge properly. But that show is really, really touching and entertaining. Even if you're a dude, just give it a chance. If you remember that show as a kid and you watch it again, you will be hooked. But those are just 5 shows, and I know there's a ton more out there. I know Fat Albert's on DVD. Nothing else comes to mind, but I'm really tired right now. So yeah, that's my current list. Hopefully I can get that to go up. Tell me what you think in the comments below. And also, I have a request for you guys. I have plenty of stuff I can review, but everything I can review has probably been reviewed already. So I need requests from you guys. What do you want me to review? I can do anything within reason. I can review video games, I can review action figures, I can review entire runs of action figures, I can interview specific figures, I can review movies, I can review series of movies, series of shows, series of video games, a single video game, manga, comic books, cartoons, music, artwork, if you want to get goofy. I have some animation cells, I have some artworks from conventions. Just let me know what you guys want to see reviewed, and I will do my best to review it. I really need your input on this, so please help me out. I would really appreciate it. Having said that, I will see you guys next time. Until then, this is the Geek saying, good journey.
You got the touch. You got the power.